In this video, we shall be looking at the conditional formatting feature available in Excel. In this video, apart from the introduction and basics of conditional formatting, we shall be covering highlight cell rules, top-bottom rules, data bars, color scales, icon sets, and finally creating your own conditional formatting rules, followed by the conclusion. Also, all the rules will be explained with the help of illustrations to provide more clarity. Hi, I'm Pratap Narula, investment consultant and educator. And if you like my video, please put in your likes and subscribe to my channel. Also, please ring that bell to get all future notifications from this channel and put in your feedbacks and comments. Further, put in your questions in the comment box and I shall definitely reply on the same. Before I walk you through creating and applying conditional formatting, you should understand the basics of how it works. The following structural aspects of conditional formatting will guide how you create and apply rules. These aspects are if-then logic, preset conditions, custom conditions, and applying multiple conditions. First, we look at if-then logic. All conditional formatting rules are based on simple if-then logic. That is, if X criteria is true, then Y formatting will be applied. This is often written as P to Q, or if P is true, then apply Q. You won't have to hardcode any logic since Excel and other spreadsheet apps have built-in parameters, so you can simply select the conditions you want the rules to meet. Advanced users can also apply the program's built-in formulas to create logic rules. Next, we come to preset conditions. Excel has a huge library of preset conditions encompassing nearly all functions that beginner users will want to apply. We'll be looking at several of the most popular ones further in this video. Coming to the third aspect, custom conditions. For situations where you want to manipulate a preset condition, you can create your own rules. If appropriate, you can use Excel formulas in the rules you write. And lastly, coming to applying multiple conditions. You can apply multiple rules to a single cell or range of cells. However, be aware of rule hierarchy and precedence. I will show you how to manage stacked rules in the walkthrough. Coming to the advantages of conditional formatting. It enables spreadsheet users to do a number of things. First and foremost, it calls attention to important data points such as deadlines, at-risk tasks, or budget items. Secondly, conditional formatting can also make large data sets more digestible by breaking up the wall of numbers with a visually organizational component. Finally, conditional formatting can transform your spreadsheet into a dependable alert system that highlights key information and keeps you on top of your workload. Now moving on to the practical side of conditional formatting. This button is available on the Home tab in the Styles group. And when you click the conditional formatting button, a drop-down menu appears with the following options. Now let's look at these one by one. The first option under conditional formatting is Highlight Cells Rules. This opens a continuation menu with various options for defining formatting rules that highlight the cells in the cell selection that contain certain values, text, or dates, or that have values greater or less than a particular value, or that fall within a certain range of values. Let's begin with our first example under conditional formatting, using the Highlight Cells Rules option. Here, in a list of food items along with supporting data, you want to quickly see the following conditions using conditional formatting. Under condition 1, you want to highlight all those cells falling between 1st October 22 to 31st December 22. Under condition 2, you want to highlight all those cells containing the text potato. Under condition 3, you want to highlight all those cells containing a sales value of less than 2500. Applying conditional formatting is useful in this case because the formatting helps you see values based on certain criteria without having to rearrange the data. Now in the data towards the left, conditional formatting has already been applied and it highlights those cells containing the 3 required conditions. Now in the data towards the right, conditional formatting is yet to be applied, and let's see how we apply that. To begin with the first condition, we first select the entire date column. Next, under the Home tab, we click on Conditional Formatting, which comes under the Styles group. And under Conditional Formatting, we click on Highlight Cells Rules. This opens up another window having various conditions. And since we want to highlight those cells falling between two particular dates, we click on the option Between. This opens up a dialog box which has the option of entering two different dates, and here I enter the required dates, that is 1st October 22, and the second option, which is 31st December 22. Now here the formatting option that has been applied is the default format option, and since we want to change the highlight cells color to green, we click on the drop down arrow in this box and we select custom format. Now under custom format, the format cells dialog box opens up, and here we select the required color, which is not there in the standard window of colors. So we click on the more colors option, and here among the additional color options that have been offered, we click on the required color, that is green, and we click on OK and OK once again. And here we see that the color option has been changed. So we give a final OK, which completes condition 1. Now moving on to condition 2, we select the entire column of food items. Again, we click on conditional formatting and again highlight cells rules. And under highlight cells rules, we can choose two options. One, either the equal to option, or two, the option which says text that contains. So let's pick up the first option that is available, which says equal to. Now under equal to, I just type the required condition cell, that is potato, and here again I need to change the format color to yellow. So I click on the drop down arrow and I choose custom format, and out here I select the color yellow and I give it an OK, and here again I give it an OK. Now moving on to the third condition, first we select the entire column of cells. Second, we click on conditional formatting. Third, again click on highlight cells rules, and here since we want to highlight the value less than a particular number, we click on less than. In the dialog box that opens up, we type 2500, which is the required condition. Again, we click on the drop down arrow, click on custom format, and we click on the desired color that we want, which is blue as originally highlighted, and we click on OK and OK once again. The third condition has also been highlighted. In our next example, from a list of manufacturing data across 25 regions from the year 2001 to 2021, you quickly want to identify duplicate values. Now doing this manually can be quite a task. So let's see how we can use conditional formatting to solve this task easily. For that, first we select the entire set of data, and next we click on conditional formatting. Here we click on highlight cells rules once again, and finally we just click on duplicate values. The moment we click on duplicate values, the duplicate cells are highlighted in the default color, and we click on the drop down arrow to select another color, which is yellow, and we click on OK. And the problem is so easily solved. We have all the duplicate values in front of us. Moving on, we come to our last example under the highlight cells rules option of conditional formatting. In this example, we have a set of data where we need to use conditional formatting to highlight the following conditions. Under condition 1, we need to highlight all those cells which are greater than 200. Under condition 2, we need to highlight all those cells greater than 150. And under condition 3, we need to highlight all those cells which are less than 75. So let's go about using conditional formatting to highlight the following cells. We first select the entire set of data. We click on conditional formatting, highlight cells rules, And since the first two conditions are based on a greater than value, so we click on greater than and we enter the number 200. Again, as we need the color green for the formatting color, so we click on custom formatting and we select the required color and we click with OK. Next, we come to the second condition where again after selecting the cells, we click on conditional formatting, highlight cells rules and again greater than, and here we enter the value 150. For using the format color, we click on custom format and select orange, and the second condition has also been highlighted. Now here, if you will notice, the moment we used conditional formatting to highlight the second condition, that covered the first condition also, because the cells greater than 200 are also greater than 150. So here there is a conflict of the conditions, and in such cases we need to be careful about the hierarchy of rules or the precedence that needs to be followed. So in such a case, what we need to do is again select the entire data, click on conditional formatting and go right till the bottom where we have manage rules. We click on manage rules and this dialog box shows you all the rules that have been used on a particular set of cells or range of data. Here we need to change the rule precedence of the conditional formatting that has been employed. So what we do here is for the cells greater than 200, we shift it upwards, so that the first precedence is given to those cells which are greater than 200. And once we change the precedence, the rule which comes on the top cannot be changed by any other rule which comes below that. So since green has come on the top, that rule stays accordingly and we apply that condition. And here you see that the cells greater than 200 have been highlighted in green and the rest stay in orange. Now coming to the third condition, we again select the entire set of data. We click on conditional formatting, highlight cells rules, and here we need a less than value, so we click on less than and we enter the value 75. Again, for a change of color, we click on custom format and select the color yellow. So now we have all the three conditions which have been highlighted as per requirement. And if we want to look at all the three rules that have been used for this range of data, we select the entire range, we go to conditional formatting and we click on manage rules, and here you can see accordingly all the three rules are shown here in this dialog box, and you can edit or delete or duplicate or add a new rule in this dialog box itself. Next, we come to the option of top-bottom rules, which allow you to apply formatting to cells that satisfy a statistical condition in relation to other cells in the range. For example, above average, within top 10%, bottom 10 items, and so on. These conditions will only be applied to cells containing numeric values. Now moving on to our example regarding top-bottom rules in conditional formatting. In a list of results from a book tour, you want to identify and compare the top 20 cities visited for fees generated, the cities that were above average in attendance, and the bottom 5 cities in number of books sold. So now let's see how we can use conditional formatting to solve the required conditions. So first we select the complete data in the fees column. Then we click on conditional formatting. Then on top bottom rules. And since we want the top 20%, we click on the top 10% preset condition. Here instead of 10, we change the number to 20. And since we want to change the default preset color to the required condition color as per our requirement, we click on custom format. And here, since we do not see the color available with us, we click on more colors, and from here we select the required color and then we click on OK. And we have the first condition available with us. Next, we move on to the second condition where we want to sort the cities which have been above average in attendance. So we select the required cells. Again, we click on conditional formatting, then on top bottom rules, and here we just select above average. This again gives us the required result, but of course we have to change the required color from the preset color, and we select our required color and click OK. So the second condition has also been sorted out. And finally we come to the last condition, which is the bottom 5 cities in the number of books sold. So we select the entire book sold column and we click on conditional formatting and then on top bottom rules, and then we select bottom 10 items. Then we change the number 10 to the number 5 and we change the format color to the required color green, which again is not available. So we try and pick out the required color from here. Yeah, so now we select this color here and we click on OK. So this gives us the solution to our required 3 conditions, which have very easily been sorted out with conditional formatting. The third option under conditional formatting is data bars. This helps you see the value of a cell relative to other cells. The length of the data bar represents the value in the cell. A longer bar represents a higher value and a shorter bar represents a lower value. Data bars are useful in spotting higher and lower numbers, especially with large amounts of data. In our next example, let's look at the use of data bars under conditional formatting. What we have before us is the data of a month's temperature for the month of August, and we want to analyze the continuous daily increase of temperature for the entire month. Now, doing this manually can be quite a task in the case of bigger data or for this particular month also. Whereas the use of data bars can make it quite simple and very visually presentable also. So let's see how we can arrive at the required solution. So first, what we do is we select the entire column for the change of data. We click on conditional formatting. From there we click on data bars and we select any 2-colored data bar option. Why I say 2-colored data bar is because the temperatures are increasing and decreasing. So if we take a single color, the difference will not be very easy to spot. So in this case, 2-color data bars will be very helpful. And we select this particular color. So after applying data bars, you can very easily see that from the date of 7th August till the date of 16th August, there is a continuous increase in the temperature. And it is all highlighted in green, indicating that the temperature is continuously increasing and also supported by the fact that there is no red bar in this range of 10 days. Moving further, we come to color scales, which are similar to data bars as they also relate different cell values to each other in a selected range. However, instead of representing this relationship by the length of a bar, color scales do so with color gradients. One color is assigned the lowest value and another the highest, with a range of colors in between representing the other values. We now come to our next example on color scales under conditional formatting. In this example, in a summary list of product sales in certain European countries, we need to examine the overall sales distribution in key product categories and also for the total sales respectively. Here I would like to mention that using color scales to see how numbers vary in a data set creates a visual display similar to what we call a heat map. Now let's proceed to applying color scales to this data set. Our first step would be to select the data in the different product categories. So we select all that required data. Next, we click on conditional formatting, then on color scales. And here we apply a two-tone color scale where green reflects the highest sales and white reflects the lowest sales. So after applying the color scale, the data looks somewhat like this. Now, for example, under the dairy products, if we were to look at the lowest scales, then we would look at the cell which reflects the maximum white, which is this particular cell. And this refers to the mid-region in Italy. Similarly, if we were to look at the highest sales in the dairy products, we look at the darkest green color, which is this, and this reflects to the west region in Germany. Again, if you were to look at the beverage sales, if you were to see the lowest sales, then we would look at the maximum white, which is this particular cell, which is in the mid-region of Sweden. And similarly, if you were to see the highest beverage sales, we would come to this cell, which is the darkest color in green, and this reflects to the mid-region in Italy. So this is how we apply color scales to the first condition. Now let us look at the second condition for total sales, where we select the entire set of data. Then we click on conditional formatting. Again we go to color scales, and this time we again select a two-tone color where pink reflects the highest and white reflects the lowest sales. Now here if you were to look at the highest and lowest sales, so the darkest pink would give us the highest sales, which is the east region of Denmark. And if you were to look at the lowest sales, we would look at the maximum white, which is this particular cell, which reflects to the south of Norway. So here we can see that applying color scales to this particular set of data makes it quite easy to quickly spot out the sale variations in different product categories or in total sales and their respective countries accordingly. The last option of preset conditions under conditional formatting are icon sets. These are sets of different types of icons in the form of directions, shapes, indicators, and ratings, which are used for visualizing the selected values by giving different meanings to them. We can use directions for ups and downs in data. For any indications, use shapes and indicators, and to rate anything, prefer ratings. Now we come to our last example under preset conditions in conditional formatting, which is icon sets. Here in this example, in a comparison of different types of bicycles, you want to rate them based on a scale of 1 to 5. In the range B2 to F2, the legend is defined with the same conditional formatting rules, but the numbers are represented as text. For each number, the legend displays certain words like excellent for 5, very good for 4, good for 3, fair for 2, and poor for 1 in a custom format in each cell. Now, for instance, if I click on the cell which says excellent, you will notice that the number in the formula bar says 5. But if I were to go to format cells, in the bottom of the number section, you would see that custom has been highlighted, and under custom, we have chosen the option of excellent. Similarly, we have very good, good, fair, and poor. So now let's see how to use icon sets in such an example to give the data a more simplified look with the help of conditional formatting. So here first we select the entire set of data. Next we click on conditional formatting. Here we click on icon sets. And since here we are doing an example of ratings, so we go to the rating section and we click this particular icon set. And what we can see is that different icon sets have been assigned depending on the rating which has been assigned from 1 to 5. So here it makes it easy to see the different type of icon for the different rating that has been assigned. And we have another option that we can use instead of the numbers that are visible. I just copy this entire set and I duplicate it here. I'll just expand this row. Yeah. Now here what we can do is we can select the entire set of data again. I go to conditional formatting, I click on manage rules, and I select the rule that we are talking about. I click on edit rules, and the dialog box that opens up. Here you have a section which says show icon only. So when I click on that box and then I click on OK and finally apply, so you'll notice that the numbers are no longer visible and it is only the icon sets which are visible. So you can choose either of the options, that is depending on your particular requirement. Plus here I would like to add that you can hide numbers in any conditional formatting example which is relating to data bars and color scales also. Now although Excel gives you a ton of ready-made preset conditions to choose from, you may still find that you need to create your own rules for conditional formatting. To do this, you choose the new rule option near the bottom of the conditional formatting buttons drop-down menu. This shows you the new formatting rule dialog box as it first appears after clicking the new rule option or button. To create a new conditional formatting rule, you first click the type of rule to create in the select a rule type list box and then specify the criteria and define the formatting using the various options that appear in the edit the rule description section below. Note that these options vary greatly depending on the type of rule you click in the select a rule type list box above. Now coming to our example for creating a new rule under conditional formatting, we shall be looking at how to create a Gantt chart, which is a commonly used tool in project management and is a very useful way of showing activities, tasks, or events displayed against a time chart. Now, in this example, we have a list of activities which have a start date and an end date shown in column B and column D. And what we are going to try to do with conditional formatting is that fill in these empty gaps that are being shown against the dates from 3rd May to 12th June, which highlights our Gantt chart, thus helping you plan your day more effectively. Now that we have selected this entire range of blank cells below the start date and the end date, we click on conditional formatting, and from there we click on new rule. Now under this dialog box which opens up after clicking new rule, we select the option of use a formula to determine which cells to format. And here we have a dialog box which opens up, which further asks us to specify the formula to be used, where we are using the AND function provided by Excel, which will apply if all the conditions specified within this function are correct. So what we have to check is whether a particular activity is falling between the start date and the end date on a particular day. So those are the two conditions that we will specify. So we start by selecting the first cell, which falls under E18. Now here we have to be careful of where to use the dollar sign. That is, should it be applied before the column or before the row, depending on the way your data has been arranged. Now this activity should be greater than the start day of the first activity, which is 3rd May, that is shown in cell B19. So we type the condition accordingly, and here under B19 we have to make sure that the column is constant, so we apply the dollar sign in front of the column B, and the row does not have to be constant because the rows will keep on changing. So now again we look at the second condition, where 3rd May should be less than the closing date or the end date of the concerned activity, where in this case is 5th May, which is falling under the cell D19. And again here the column has to be kept constant and the rows will be variable. So we enter the following condition, and this time we have to be careful that it has to be less than the closing date, and again the column D has to be kept constant. So now that we have entered the formula, this formula will check against every particular date throughout that entire range of 3rd May to 12th June and see whether any activity is happening on that particular date, and if it is happening, it will format that particular cell in the required format option that we have chosen. So here we will choose format in red, and we click on OK and OK once again, and here you see that the Gantt chart has been processed. And now by looking at this entire range of dates and comparing it with the number of activities that are supposed to be happening, if you click on any particular date, you can see that on 15th May, you have two particular activities that are happening, which is print and mail questionnaire and receive responses. So in such a way, the Gantt chart totally tells you which activities are happening on which date and which is a particular date on where you have no particular activities. You are free to assign some other work on that particular day. For instance, on 9th May, you don't have any single activity assigned on your calendar as yet. I would also like to talk about conditional formatting with the quick analysis tool. This tool is a collection of some selected options that you can use to analyze the data quickly. It includes conditional formatting, charts, pivot table, and sparklines. It also takes care of what type of data, that is text, dates, or numbers, you have selected and show you the options based on that. Quick Analysis tool was introduced with Excel 2013. So if you are using Excel 2010 or any lower version, you won't be able to find this option. Now let's quickly take up an example under conditional formatting where we use the Quick Analysis tool. Here I have come back to one of the examples I had explained for color scales, and I select the entire data and I click on Conditional Formatting, Manage Rules, and I remove the applied rules. So all the conditional formatting rules have been removed. Now here I select the data once again, and you will notice at the bottom right corner you have a box which says Quick Analysis tool. The shortcut for this is the Ctrl+Q key, and you can just click on this box and the Quick Analysis tool opens up. where you can see formatting, charts, totals, tables, and sparklines. Now under formatting, since we are doing an example relating to color scales, we just click on color scales and conditional formatting is applied as per the best recommendation according to your data. So this tool saves us a lot of time while applying conditional formatting. To conclude, applying conditional formatting is an easy way to keep yourself and others up to date with your data by calling visual attention to important dates and deadlines, tasks and assignments, budget constraints, and anything else you might want to highlight. When applied correctly, conditional formatting will make you more productive by reducing time spent manually combing data and making it easier to identify trends so you can focus on the big decisions. Lastly, all conditional formatting rules can be very easily edited and changed through the Manage Rules section. I hope that you are all clear about the concept of conditional formatting and are able to use it in a manner that complements your Excel workings. Hope you liked watching my video, and please do like and subscribe to my channel. Also, click the bell icon for all new video updates. Thank you.